My name is Ambalwa Mchesia. For those who know me a bit longer, they might call me Cheki Ambalwa. So Cheki Ambalwa is what is there on every socials. On my first film project, I was a production assistant on some film. I think it was called Something Necessary. These white guys came to the hood and they were making a film, and they were teaching guys film. So back then I was still in high school. Yeah, so I tried to get a gig in the film project, but I couldn't because I was still a kid. But I managed to convince them to be a production assistant. As a kid, I watched Sarafina, the South African production, and it just like literally blew my mind, considering that I come from a family that is musically oriented. So when I watched Sarafina, it was like, wow, so this is it. But I was a kid, so I couldn't really tell what that was all about, but I watched it and I was like, this is interesting. I would love to do this kind of thing. I watched Shaka Zulu and the performance was so phenomenal, and I went to look for material about the behind the scenes. And when I saw the material from behind the scenes, I saw the lead actor. He was not even an actor prior to Sarafina. He was just some guy who the director saw and loved him, and they had to train him into being an actor, and then he totally killed the role. So that left my mind like, wow, so you can actually, this is something you can learn on your own. Right? Around the same time, there was a series of advertisements for Guinness. They were called Michael Power. Yeah. So Michael Power was running on TV, and we used to rush home with my bro just to go and watch Michael Power, because it was this guy who was drinking Guinness, and he was so action oriented, and he was black, and he was just like, he was like the perfect action figure. Yeah? So I used to watch that a lot. And one time when I was in Form 1, I remember I was going to school and I was passing through town, and coincidentally these South Africans were shooting Michael Power in town. So I'm walking, going to school, and I come across cables. Yeah, so I follow the cables and I bump into a set of Michael Power. And that was it. I didn't go to school that day. I just shadowed the production all day. Once I got rid of my uniform, I got rid of my school uniform, put on my basketball uniform for the school, and it just looked like part of the crew. So I just shadowed them all day, and it just blew my mind because it was a really big production, you know, guys hanging off cables, jumping off buildings, and I just felt like it was crazy. So that really got me, specifically Michael Power, the production, it really got me into filmmaking. Shaka Zulu definitely got me into production, because I understood that Shaka Zulu, that this is a complete cinematic works, and it was like really excellently done. My most memorable project is a project called Dagoreti. It's a show about this politically connected guy who opens a children's home for vitiligo and albinism, and so they take them in, they help them out, and then send them abroad for better treatment, because in East Africa, vitiligo guys who have vitiligo and albinism are being collected, are being hunted down for ritualistic purposes, because in the world of the film, guys who have vitiligo, they're being used to help people amass wealth. So they're being killed off so that people can use them for ritualistic wealth creation. I'm an action thriller type of director who heavily favors sci-fi, but from an African perspective. My writing process generally is we find an idea, and then we try to identify the beats of the idea. In this particular case, I mean, like, we just understand, like, this is our exposition, these are our expositional concepts, this is how the story progresses, and this is how the story ends. And then we try to find these story beats that actually matter, and then now I can sit down and start plotting out the entire story. We need to explore these African stories, because stories are there, these stories are African, we are Africans, it's our business to tell the African story.